By law, the IRS must notify the State Department of seriously delinquent tax debts. Remind your client to check available payment options so she does not put her passport at risk. Not a very exciting tweet from the IRS. Strange single reply that it got after 7 retweets. This means you, #Thoughts. Well, as a gentleman who rarely spends any time on the internet and doesn't know much about the internet lingo, I had to go to Urban Dictionary to look up what a thought was. A thought stands...
Whoa. Hold up. This is an interesting thing that's been happening lately, and it's getting out of hand as usual as the two political parties are kind of being divided on this subject, as if there's only two sides of the political sphere. There isn't. There's a whole bunch of fucking shit throughout the political spectrum. But anyway, the thought issue is coming up, and I'm really torn on this. And there's, I don't particularly agree with Carl Benjamin, but I don't particularly disagree with Carl Benjamin. Sargon of Akkad on this one. This is a very complicated issue for me because I am liberal, I am sex positive, and I think that prostitution should be legal, and there's plenty of evidence to suggest that if prostitution was legal, the females involved would be safer in many different counts, as far as STD, rape, murder, etc., etc. And really, pornography is the same thing as prostitution. You're getting paid for sex. There is a place in society for prostitution and paid sex work. There's absolutely all kinds of reasons why men might engage in such a practice. So who are the people that are turning in the thoughts, which means that hoe over there, in for tax evasion? Supposedly, it's a bunch of angry, right-leaning conservative people that are against prostitution being legalized. And I don't know if that's entirely true, because there is a financial aspect to this, that if you do turn in someone for tax evasion, then you do get money from the IRS. I don't know how true that is, but supposedly that's a thing. And the reason why I'm torn on it is because by them attacking the thoughts on Instagram and reporting for them for this, they're essentially shutting down a sex service, which is something that I'm for. If women want to sell their bodies and capitalize off of it, I have no problem with this. There's a ton of guys out there that are lonely. Maybe they have ED. Maybe they've been through a divorce. Maybe they just are genetically inept to really compete in the genetic pool and have to pay someone to actually touch their penis. There's plenty of reasons why people turn to sex workers. Plenty of reasons. Sometimes it's not even just sex. Sometimes it's just the attention. The attention of the gender that they are sexually attracted to, not for sex, but some people just want to be cuddled, in fact. So, them turning them in has the opportunity and the ability to get these sex workers shut down in doing what it is that they do. And that I disagree with. But on the other hand, the idea behind taxizing sex work is having one foot in the door, one step closer to having it legalized, which is ultimately something that I want. And if you don't believe me about making prostitution legal and it being safer for the women, all we need to do is look at the brothels that exist in Nevada, which I have a video about, actually. I've done a video about that before already. So, I wouldn't say that it's specifically indicative of right-leaning people that are mad at prostitution that are the result of this happening. It would seem that, yes, there's a lot of really angry, socially awkward males, and there's a video clip out there that Sargon showed. I'm not going to look for it. I'm not going to. Fuck that shit. But this is a heated topic that is happening all throughout Twitter on hashtag Thot at the moment. And they are very, very quick and inept to blame the entirety that is the right-leaning individuals that don't want to see prostitution legalized. Well, that's not entirely true. There are right-leaning people that want to see prostitution legalized as well and understand that this is a pointless crime. This is just turning innocent people into criminals. Because no matter what you do, women will always try to use their body to make money. It's not something that should be a crime. It's something that's happening between two consenting adults. I don't see the crime there. The guy is willing to forfeit money, and the female is willing to, in exchange, perform a sexual activity for said amount of money. This is consensual. I don't see why this needs to have any legal ramification behind it whatsoever. Both parties are agreeing to this. What's the conflict? But of course, since there are women on Instagram that are like, I will take dirty pictures of myself and post them for your ugly ass if you give me money, and the males say, okay, and they do it. Well, ultimately, the brothels that run in Nevada, they have income taxes taken out. They get 401ks. They have health plans. Really good ones, too. So, is it necessarily wrong to demand that they pay taxes? I think not. But I think that there is something to be said that maybe some of them don't recognize that this is hurting the cause. And I would say that if you're mad at these quote-unquote whores for abandoning you and participating in this activity, why don't you take your money and purchase their service? Just saying, if that's indeed what is making them mad. I'm not sure the whole scale on this, and I think I have to tiptoe, because I think more information is going to come out that is more relevant to this topic than what we have now. What we have right now is a bunch of individuals on the internet turning thoughts in on Instagram for tax evasion. That's what we have right now. And a lot of leftists are getting upset because it hurts the cause of legalizing prostitution, while also not taking into account that right-leaning people also want to see prostitution legalized, while yes, there are a lot of conservative people, aren't necessarily right or left-leaning, but conservative, very probably Christian, kind of in that domain of puritanical beliefs on sexuality, that don't want to see this happen. But I don't necessarily think that just because somebody is turning someone in for tax evasion to collect money, that they're necessarily against what the women are doing. This is a complicated subject that has many different areas to go. It's not just simply black and white like we like to look at things. I don't think every person that's turning the thoughts in for tax evasion is necessarily against what they're doing. I think they're doing it for the money. And I don't think that just because we want it legal, we should exempt them from paying taxes. Because if you think about it, if they are paying taxes, we have found a legitimate loophole in this, is that they can participate in sex work on Instagram as long as they pay taxes. That's interesting. This is a complicated notion, and I feel that it's getting out of hand. Like I said, people are pointing fingers in all kinds of directions, and they want this matter to be black and white. That it's strictly conservatives attacking. Well, that may not be the case. It could be a number of different people throughout the political spectrum that simply want money, are simply angry that they're not getting female attention, and some of them may be puritanical towards sexuality and want to see an end to it. You have a variety of different motivations for this behavior, and I think that we should be careful not to limit it to only one motivation, which seems to be a faulty within the political spheres, is that we try to limit it to one type of motivation and clearly otherize the other group, as opposed to understanding that individuals are capable of individual thought regardless of where they fall on the political spectrum. And we really have to see where this goes before we start slinging out judgments on why it's occurring and who's doing it. So while I do think that it's a good thing that they're starting to pay income taxes because that's one step closer to legalization, I'm also against it because it's hurting the cause of legalizing prostitution across the board. So we wouldn't just have it in Nevada, we would have it nationwide. And ultimately, it's to protect women that engage in it. It's never going to stop. You're not going to stop it. Making it sex work illegal doesn't stop it. It will get rid of pimping. It will get rid of the abuse, the rape, the murder, and the horrible things that prostitutes have to go through if it was just legal and it was a normal occupation that a woman could sign up for. There's a place for males in that world too. Just saying. So I just want people to be careful as we tread forward on this, as not to make this a black or white situation, because it's not. There are many shades of gray, and we need to be aware of that. That we should stay ever vigilant in the notion of legalizing prostitution, and know that if prostitution does become legal, part of that and getting 401k health plans and all that sort of stuff will also come with being taxed. So this is an iffy situation. It may not necessarily be good in the moment, but in the long run, might have a desired effect that we've been waiting for. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell button on any channel you're subscribed to. With that, out!